Hey guys, Scripted here with another video. This is from Star Wars News Net. And the only reason I'm doing this is because this is dovetailing what I've been saying for a long time. That there's just nowhere to go with Star Wars right now. They can completely fix that by just saying the sequels are no longer canon, we're going to start over, but they'll never do that, of course. So this week, in a galaxy far, far away, 25 Star Wars questions for 2025. And this is like, I'm not even faulting the author of this article at all. There just isn't anything else to talk about. So these questions, you're just like, what? This is what we're talking about for Star Wars now? It's really sad. It's quite pathetic and sad. And so I'm going to go as quick as I can here rather than reading every single thing here. Okay, so number one, will Kathleen Kennedy still be head of Lucasfilm 1 year from now? Well, ultimately, that's up to her. I mean, any other person in any other position in any other company that was doing what she was doing and running everything into the ground would have been fired by now. Look what happened with Willow. Willow's not even on Disney Plus anymore. It became such a joke. Indiana Jones. Destroyed him. Had one okay movie in Rogue One. And everything else was garbage. And the Rise of Skywalker literally profited $50 million. A Star Wars movie profited $50 million. That's it. So, anyone else would have been fired, but somehow she stays because I think it's just she knows where the bodies are buried and she's going to leave when she's dang well good and ready. I think she's going to be here, there's rumors at least, until they have something super successful. So if Mandalorian and Grogu is super successful, I guess then maybe she'll resign. But and I think it's supposed to come out this year. Is it this year? No, it's next year. Yeah, so no, she'll be here. Yeah, she'll be here. 100%. What will be the next Star Wars next feature film to enter production? Well, no one knows. Because nothing is coming in the first half of 2025, that's for sure. But word on the street says that either Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi or Sean Levy's Untitled project could go up this fall winter. Like, guys, they've been talking about these projects for 2 years and nothing's happening. So no, I don't think a film will enter production, another film. They'd be out of their minds at this point. And even Iger said they had to scale everything back because Kennedy's done such a good job. And yet she keeps their job anyway. It doesn't seem to matter. What will be the next Star Wars live-action series after Ahsoka Season 2 to enter production? Yeah, I guess there really isn't anything lined up. But they did say they were scaling back. Honestly, I don't think they have any ideas. I think that they have exhausted all of their ability to be creative at this point. Filoni has cherry-picked every character he possibly could. Hedlund did it as well. They've cherry-picked every possible character, used them to the best of their abilities, I guess. And now they don't have any ideas. I mean, even you look at Skeleton Crew. Yeah, there's some fun things in there with the characters, but I mean, it's just rehashed ideas over and over and over again. They're not thinking of anything else. The last episode was so devoid of new ideas that everything had to do with crabs. Like, they couldn't even do a trash compactor or whatever, incinerator that didn't move around like a crab. The whole episode was crabs. It's just like you couldn't think of anything else. So they're just devoid of any ideas now. So what show could you do? What show could you do that anyone would care about? Nobody watched Acolyte. Even less people apparently are watching Skeleton Crew. Ahsoka didn't really get a ton of viewership, especially not for her sort of level of character, like her popularity. Not a lot of people watched Andor. I know a lot of people like Andor, but not a lot of people watched Andor. So you tell me in the comment section, what could you even do a show about at this point? I guess the only show you could do that people would actually probably tune in for is like a Luke Skywalker show or a Darth Vader show at this point. What will be the next animated series after Visions Volume 3? There's going to be a Visions Volume 3? I gotta say, I'm not a fan of Visions. I reviewed the first two, or the first season, I should say, and then I couldn't even get through like the second or third episode of Visions 2. I just was like, I didn't like the first one very much at all, and then the second one was so bad I just couldn't even watch it anymore. I don't know. Next animated series, who knows? There's nothing to talk about anymore. Young Jedi Adventures will be the next entry in the animated sub-franchise. Who cares? Are people watching that? Young Jedi Adventures is like, I don't know any kids. Like, we have a lot of friends with a lot of kids. I don't know. None of them's ever even mentioned it. What will be the next AAA video game released? It doesn't really matter. Again, there's nowhere to go. Outlaws sucked. So whatever new video game gets made is already behind the 8-ball because the reputation now is bad for these games. I guess people like Survivor, but I mean, I don't know. Star Wars Eclipse, the video game set in the High Republic that will probably come out years after that era came to an end in other media. The door is not shut on Knights of the Old Republic remake yet, but we know that Bit Reactor is working on an RPG and Respawn is developing a third Star Wars Jedi game. Which one is next and when is it coming out? I would guess probably the Jedi game will be next. That would be my take. But it's not going to be in 2025. What's next for Lucasfilm Publishing after the High Republic's been completed? Dear God, it's going to be completed? Hallelujah. They're not going to continue it anymore? The High Republic is wrapping up. See, and that's an indictment, right? They're still writing new comics in the OT era. Like, they're still writing comics in the post-Return of the Jedi era. The High Republic is, like, hundreds of years long. So, this is an indictment. It sucks. Nobody's reading these books. Their sales have plummeted. The physical copies have plummeted by 90%, so you can make a pretty easy suggestion that the digital copies probably have suffered a similar fate. How will Cassian and KSO meet in Andor Season 2? As it's well known to Star Wars canon junkies. Star Wars canon junkies. Disney canon junkies. And if they're into Disney canon, they're junkies. They're harming themselves, but they still want it. A one-shot comic published in 2017 established how Andor and K2SO met, but the existence of that comic is unbeknownst to 99.5% of the people watching Andor Season 2. And I'm being generous. So you're saying that 0.5%, so 0.5% of people, Star Wars fans, are Disney canon junkies. 0.5%. It's true, though. No one knows about these comics. No one cares. And honestly, I don't care how he met him. Do you? He was a cool droid and stuff. I like him, but it's one of the few things I like in Disney Star Wars. But no, who cares? Oh, he said something about Pablo Hidalgo. I gotta look at that. Pablo Hidalgo also make sure it would fit inside a larger storyline. Yeah, whatever, who cares? Will we see the Gorman Massacre? The Gorman Massacre was an event that happened in 2 BBY where Imperial soldiers slaughtered peaceful protesters. And apparently this is like mentioned in a couple books. Disney Star Wars books. Like, this is the level that we're at now. These are the questions we're asking for 2025 for Star Wars. Hey, do you think they're going to do that thing that was mentioned in that book once? That character brought up? Let's see. Like, this is what happens. And I understand the argument people make that, like, oh, it's always about Jedi and Sith and lightsabers. But that's really missing the point. The reason that the old movies were so interesting is the stakes. We were talking about galactic level stakes that impacted everybody in the whole galaxy. These are like, the Gorman Massacre is just a random event that took place where stormtroopers killed a bunch of civilians. That's not that interesting. And that's why, like, with all these shows and all this crap they're pumping out in these comic books and stuff about these sort of offshoot meaningless things, it just slowly downgrades it. If the Emperor survives, the Empire will go on. Are they going to kill him? Are they going to survive that? Is Luke going to make it? Because if he doesn't, then the galaxy's at stake. Is Luke going to get the shot into the Death Star? If not, the galaxy, they're going to be blowing up planets. Oh, the Gorman Massacre. Are we going to get the Gorman Massacre? Like, that's how low it's sunk now. Will we continue the Ninth Jedi story? That story kind of sucked to me. It was about some guy trying to lure Jedi by like making lightsabers, and I'm pretty sure he lures them in and then he turns out to be bad or whatever. I don't know. I don't really remember, but I really found that kind of weird because Jedi don't go and get handed lightsabers. And I know it's not canon and you can do whatever you want, but still, like, wouldn't you want to make it true to the lore if you're writing a show like that? So when Jedi get their lightsaber, it's one of the last things they do in their training is they build their own lightsaber. That's the lore. Not, I gotta go to the store and pick up my lightsaber, guys. I'll be back. I'll be back in half an hour. Right? That's like what you do at Disney. You go buy, even in Galaxy's Edge or whatever, you make your own lightsaber. But in that show, you just go and get it. Remember when Vader made a big deal about Luke constructing his own lightsaber? That's what it is. It's not... Anyway, so I found that kind of sucky. I guess it's popular to some people. I don't care about Visions, and I don't care about continuing the Ninth Jedi. Will the story of The Mandalorian continue past the upcoming movie? If so, how? Well, it won't in 2025. See, half of this stuff, they're just trying to make questions up because there's nothing happening. Because the brand is destroyed. What happens to the High Republic era after the publishing initiative? There must be more stories to tell between the last page of that book and The Phantom Menace. We saw some of them in The Acolyte. Will they continue exploring these characters and the rise of the Sith in some place? I hope. I mean, they'd be stupid to. No one's going to pay attention to that. No. So no, nothing will happen, in my view. Can Marvel keep its momentum after the Battle of Jakku? They did a Battle of Jakku comic, I guess, that was sort of popular, I guess. I don't know. It's all Disney canon. It's like... I don't know. I don't think a lot of people really care that much. Will the story of the Acolyte continue in print? Yeah, Leslie I did a video about that. Like, she actually thought she was going to do 3 seasons in a movie with this garbage. It's just... the egos on these people is so crazy to me. They're so out of touch and have, like, no self-awareness at all. I think that would be hilarious, actually. It's one of the few, like, print media things I might actually cover if they do that, because there's no way it's anything but horrible. So that would actually be pretty funny. So hopefully they do. They won't. It's not going to, but that'd be funny. But what will specifically happen section. Who will be cast in the next Star Wars movie? Well, they're trying to do a stupid Rey movie. So yeah, probably Rey, probably Daisy Ridley. Mangold's movie might also be casting someone who would likely be the first Jedi. Can you imagine Disney making a movie about the first Jedi? What an absolute disaster that's going to be. So honestly, cast whoever you want. Find, like, who's the biggest loser in Hollywood? Cast him. Who's the biggest loser? Cast Ruffalo, whatever his name is. Mark Ruffalo, who's always ranting and acting like it. Him and... who's the other guy? John, is it Rappaport? Who's the other guy that just freaks out? He, like, childish, like, mental rants all the time. Cast those 2 idiots. Perfect. Who is the new writer on Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's new show? I thought they already had that. I thought that was Buddy. I thought they were saying it was Simon Kinberg, so it's not now? What a disaster, though. This will be the 3rd. Stephen Knight dropped out. There was already the other 2 dudes dropped out. So whoever this guy is, or girl, or whatever, is going to have to be a yes man. Patty Jenkins left, right? Because they get their scripts back. The rumor is they get their scripts back, and there's so many notes on it that they have to basically rewrite it every time. Which my point was a while back, Kathy, write it yourself. You think you know it all. You've done such a good job to this point with what you've approved. Why don't you just write it yourself? Take the credit. Stop, like... making someone else write what you wrote. right? Like you put so many notes on it, it's not even theirs anymore. It's yours. You might as well just say it's yours, right? Like this is stupid. Will the new Jedi Order movie actually happen? Honestly, I doubt it. I think, well, I'll put it to you this way. I think it will if Mandalorian and Grogu does good. My personal guess is it's probably going to do about $750 million, which means it's only going to profit like $100 by the time they spend all that money making it and marketing it. But it will be a moderate success, I think. I think there's enough of a fan base. And with that, they might think, oh, people are coming back to the theaters for Star Wars. Even though I don't think they really are. I don't think $750 million is very good, but that's my prediction. Maybe it gets to $1 billion. And if it does, yeah, they'll probably make it. It'll bomb, but they'll make it. And then maybe that'll be the final nail in the coffin. Will there be any theatrical release plans associated with Andor Season 2? I'm super puzzled at this whole, like, let's make TV shows into movies and movies into TV shows. If it's a TV show, leave it as a TV show. And if it's a movie, make it a movie. And I always said Star Wars never should have been live action TV. Ever. The animated stuff, but no. Live action, they never should have done that. Just diminishes the brand. Gets the hype down. Quality goes down. It's like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings should never have been a TV show either. These are epic, global, huge IPs. You do not relegate them to television. Sorry, that's just a huge mistake that they made, and they did it to get their streaming service going, and it worked with Mando Season 1, and I said right then and there, I said, you know what, this is the worst thing that could have happened, because now they're going to start pumping out crappy TV shows, and that's exactly what they did. Will John Boyega return? Well, sure he will, for the money. First he said he wasn't going to, then he said, oh, I had to sit down with Kathy, now I want to. It's just money, dude. It's just money. Same with Daisy. Daisy Ridley said that they asked her if she'd ever come back. She said maybe in the future, but I think it's done. There's a bow tied around it. And then someone walked over and said, here's $12 million. So that's the way it works. Oscar Isaac, same thing. He said, they asked him if he'd ever come back as Poe. He said, yeah, maybe if I need another house, and started laughing. That's what Star Wars has become. So he probably would, and he probably will if they do the Daisy Ridley movie, but they're not doing it in 2025, and again, he'd only be coming back for the money. The brand is tarnished to the point where that's what it is now. So actors used to be so excited at the idea of being in Star Wars. I remember, who's that singer, the redheaded guy? I don't really like his music, but he got to be a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens, and he was so excited. And now it's like nobody even really cares. When will we see Boba Fett again? I'm Boba Fetted out. I don't want to see Boba Fett again. I hated what they did. I thought the whole thing was stupid. I reviewed it. It's a really, really bad show in virtually every possible way. Awful. It was so bad that my take is they took the first 2 episodes of Mandalorian Season 3 and put them into the Book of Boba Fett. Because it was so bad. And they had to have Mando in there. He's not even in, Boba Fett's not even in 2 episodes of his own show. And how many episodes were there? Like 7 or 6? So, no, you guys wrecked Boba Fett. You should have made him, he should have been the Mandalorian. He should have been the Mandalorian. Think of it this way. Everyone likes the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's fine, but think of it this way. The original rumor was that there was going to be a Boba Fett movie. So they were going to do the 3 episodes, and in between them they were going to do a solo movie. The first one actually was supposed to be the Boba Fett movie, then the solo movie, and then there was another one they were planning on doing. I don't know if that was Rogue One or what it was. And instead of doing the Boba Fett movie, they decided to do The Mandalorian to get Disney Plus subscriptions. But they made The Mandalorian instead of Boba Fett, and I think they did that simply to be like, oh, we'll save Boba Fett. We'll still do a movie about him because he's Boba Fett. But The Mandalorian was so popular that they couldn't. It became now Mandalorian's having a movie, and Boba Fett's relegated to whatever, 2nd, 3rd, 4th fiddle. What should have happened is Boba Fett should have been the Mandalorian. The plot should have been exactly the same. Him going around doing bounties without this stupid helmet clause and all this nonsense. And then Boba Fett gives Grogu to Luke. All of that, of course, predicated on him surviving the Sarlacc, which I don't actually like anyway. I don't like that. It just diminishes the Sarlacc. Oh, you can just get out of there. It's dumb. I know it was in comics or whatever, in the EU stuff. I don't like it. I thought that was stupid. But if they were going to have him survive, imagine that scene where Boba Fett is giving Luke Grogu at the end of season 2. Like, just think of the look on Luke's face when he sees it's Boba Fett. And that's actually a character arc for Boba Fett, too, because, look, he's a bounty hunter at the end of the day, but, he cares about this kid. That's an arc for Boba Fett. No, take it away, give it to some new guy. So, I mean, I don't know. No, I don't want any more Boba Fett. I've had enough Boba Fett. Don't give me any more crappy Boba Fett. I want good Boba Fett, bounty hunting Boba Fett, not loser, goes and tries to become a businessman on Tatooine with his constantly just walking around without his helmet on. And he's fat. No thanks. Will Dr. Aphra make the jump to live action? I don't understand the hype of Dr. Aphra. Aphra is a morally questionable criminal archaeologist initially employed by Darth Vader in his efforts to replace Palpatine as leader of the Galactic Empire. I don't like that either. That whole concept of Vader, trying to challenge Palpatine's leadership. I never liked that. He is Palpatine's bulldog. He knows he can't do anything to Palpatine. That's how it would need to work. If he's constantly, like in the comics, they're constantly having these fights and stuff. That's not realistic. I'm the Emperor, bro. I don't fight you. Get out of my office, right? Or I'll kill you, right? It's not realistic. Created by writer Kieran Gillen, Aphra is notable as one of the first and most prominent and well-known LGBTQ Star Wars characters. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember these covers. Okay, anyway, I don't care. No, I don't care. I don't even like the idea of him. I don't like the idea of Vader trying to usurp Palpatine. No, I hope not. And if he does, or is it a he? I don't know. I don't care. Dr. Aphra's going to save Star Wars, put him in live action. It's going to save it. Like, this is the crap we're talking about now. When will we get stories from the Old Republic? No, please no. Please no, Disney. Never, ever, please. For the love of all that is sacred in this world. Do not do it. Because they can't control themselves. They'll take things from Old Republic and twist them and add their own new, weird, crappy characters and twist things around and cherry pick. No. Is Hasbro or another toy company going to finally release a figure of Two Tubes? Who wants a figure of Two Tubes? This is Two Tubes. He's just that guy that's like standing there in Rogue One. What was this? What was he in again? Oh no, he's in Andor. That's right. When Luthen goes and meets what's his name? Yeah, literally, dude. Like, is that important? It's literally some guy. Yo, man, it's Two Tubes. But this is what it's come to. Two Tubes. That's one of the things we can finally get is Two Tubes. Star Wars is just done. Okay, wild card section. Will Jar Jar Abrams and The Force Awakens be cast be in Japan? Who cares? I guess they're doing a Star Wars convention there. Who cares? Is Mark Hamill going to be involved with Star Wars in some way in 2025? Probably not. I think he's literally like losing his mind right now over politics to the point where I don't know if he's capable of rational thought or the ability to be even a consultant. I think he's just completely lost his mind over an election. And quite frankly, I don't really care if he's involved at all. At the end of the day, he did a movie that ruined Luke Skywalker for money. And I'm sorry, I don't care. Nope. Where and when will the next Star Wars celebration be? Who cares? After visiting England and Japan, it's probably time to return to the US. Yeah, who cares? Like, Who cares about almost any of this crap? Like, there's nothing to look forward to. This is the state of this brand. And there she is. They are, both of them, totally responsible. They are the reason. Doesn't seem to be a problem. Just keep paying them and promoting them and, just flush it down the drain and keep flushing, I guess. It's weird, but can you imagine this is what we're talking about? Just imagine like 2015, before The Force Awakens came out. Think about what questions would have appeared on this. 15 questions, Star Wars questions for 2015. It would have been nuts. It would have been all about like Luke Skywalker and Leia and Han and Lando and the Republic. It would have been questions about who is this character we saw in this trailer, this girl, who, like, what's going on with Leia and Han's children. Like, the 15 questions would have been huge, pertaining to this massive hype and this galaxy, and now it's this. So anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.